Hello, everyone, and welcome back to It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous Every Day, based on the book by my co host, Ellie Dalsimer. I'm Cyrus Webb. So glad you all could be with us today. Welcome to us tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on X. Going to bring in our friends over on Instagram so they can be a part of the chat, and our friends on Amazon Live as well. If you guys have not gotten Allie's book, It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous Every Day, now is a perfect time to add it to your reading list, and also time to get one for a friend as well, especially because this is a great time for books as well as for inspiration. For those joining us on Amazon Live, welcome. You all are watching It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous Every Day with Ellie Dalsimer and myself. Ellie, how you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you doing, Cyrus?
I love that. Oh, I'm going to do fabulous too, Ellie.
Awesome.
I love it. Well, look, if you guys are new to us on the Amazon side, make sure you guys do hit that follow button. Our brand new programming begins next week with my weekly art show, The Art Spot, debuting here on Amazon. So make sure you guys are following us. See the follow button either here in this corner or down below. You also will see Allie's book below as well. Allie, another great message for us for today, but I want to kick things off, though, by talking about, first of all, we're beginning a new month, if you can believe that. April is here. And I think for a lot of people, as we're going into spring, normally, the spring kind of brings in, better feelings for people because of the weather is normally nicer, except for here when we're having storms almost every week. What has it been like for you to kind of welcome in this new month and the opportunities ahead?
Oh, it's been great. This is my favorite time of year. I was out the other day, and one of my favorite things in the world is when all the cherry blossoms are out, and then a breeze blows, and
Mm,
the little cherry blossoms come flying, and it's like a snowstorm of flower petals, and
wow,
it just lifts my heart and inspires me so much. So
I
I've
love
been
to.
really, really enjoying this time of year. It's a new beginnings and new
Yeah.
fresh start, and yeah.
I totally agree with that. I mean, I talk about this time of year, especially here in the South. This is a stormy time, but I mean, what I love is my parents are outdoor people. I'm not, but my parents love being outside. They love planting, flowers and trees and the garden, getting the garden ready and that kind of. And I love seeing their enjoyment this time of year instead of being cooped up in the house. So
Yeah.
that brings me a lot of joy, and I'd love for our audience to share in the comment section. Let us know what you like about this time as well. Before we get into today's message, Allie, you and I were just having a great conversation before we went live, and we were talking about the power of words. And I was saying when I read your message for today, it reminded me why I wrote the book Words I Choose to Live By, and that is because I realized the importance of the words I speak over myself. I wanted to ask you before we started with the reading, how important has that been for you as we've kind of seen your journey throughout the book, to kind of watch the words that you speak over yourself?
That's huge, and for me personally, it's become the core of how I've been able to continue to move forward.
Mm,
Um, and you know, trying to be aware of the triggers for that negative self-talk, and trying to combat that with positive self-talk is
mm,
huge, because as I've said before, you've got to be your own best cheerleader.
yeah,
It's no one else's responsibility for you to succeed. Others may do that, and that is amazing if they do, but the only person who is truly responsible for your own outcomes is you.
yeah.
So giving yourself all the advantages you can, giving yourself pep talks is huge.
So true. Steve Manchester. Hello to you, Steve. Good to be able to see you joining us. A fellow East Coasterner, Allie joining us on the IG side. Um, Steve's a talented author too, great with words too. And I love that too, Allie. So as we get into today's message, I want our audience to think about that because again, I think sometimes inspiration comes in places we don't expect. I was saying to Allie, like other quotes, she started off these chapters with. I had not heard this one before, but Allie, I want to turn it over to you.
Awesome. Great. Let me put my glasses on so I can actually see the words today. The words you speak become the house you live in. Hafiz. We all know the impact a few words can make. If those words are kind, we feel buoyed and encouraged. A compliment makes us smile. Mean and spiteful words, on the other hand, can darken our mood, destroy our fragile ego, and ruin our day. Research has shown that our brains are hardwired to focus and dwell on negative information. It's called negativity bias. And guess what? It's not just others who can hurt you with negative words. You can and do hurt yourself when you speak negatively to yourself. The impacts of negative self talk may seem subtle, but its reality can be utterly self destructive. Don't give in to it. If you want to live your dream, it's up to you to make it happen. So encourage and reward your achievements rather than berate yourself for missed targets or momentary lapses. You must speak positive words to live in a positive house. So don't beat yourself up. Instead, remind yourself that your path doesn't have to be linear, that you can shift directions as your circumstances change. And in doing so, you gift yourself the grace to function in harmony with life's ebbs and flows. Super overachievers aside, we mere mortals struggle with routinely embracing fabulosity. Seriously, who can be fabulous every single day? Not me. By visualizing our objective, we are better able to realize it. By knowing our true self, we will find we have all the tools we need within us to maximize our personal potentials. If you are kind to yourself along the journey, including speaking words of self-encouragement, you will arrive more quickly and with less unhappiness.
A lot in this message, Allie, and I want to say hello to you guys coming in on the YouTube side. Welcome to you. Robert Blake Whitehill. Robert's joining us over on IG. Hello to you.
Hey there, friend.
The Real Lady Extreme, hello to you. Glad you could join us over there on IG as well. Robert says excellent words, finally declaimed. I totally agree. There's a lot in this, Allie. And what I love about this message, and this goes to the core of what I try to share with people about myself, and that is we have to stop giving the power, of our own happiness to others, but also stop robbing ourselves of it ourselves. And I think what this message really shows is that we have a lot more control than we sometimes realize about how we feel about ourselves and what we can do. Hey, Makita. Makita's joining us over there on YouTube.
Hey, Makita.
She's sending you some hearts. And so what has that realization done for you? As you shared in other parts of the book already, Allie, that when you've gone through dark moments, right, going through loss, going through bad situations, you realize that you could get yourself out of it a day at a time by being purposeful. How has that helped you to know that what other people say about you, but also what you say about yourself, doesn't have to stop you from doing what you want to do?
Yeah. So your point a moment ago was really powerful, and I think it deserves to be emphasized, which is you can't control other people. You might be able to influence them, but you can't control them. You can't control what they say, what they do, or how they treat you. But what you can control is what you do, how you react, and what you say, both to yourself and to others. And, research has not only shown that negative self-talk is damaging, but actually negative talk about other people and situations can also be damaging. Conversely, if you speak positively towards yourself and give yourself encouragements, you live, a more stress-free, happier life. And if you speak positive, I'm not having trouble, blah, 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 blah today. If you speak positively towards others and about situations, you actually also have an enhanced sense of well-being and live a happier, more fulfilled life. So, the trick is to find what it is that triggers your own self-talk. We all too often say things like, "Oh, I'm no good at XYZ. Well, here's an example that I use in my talk. I'm no good at math. I can't do math. I just can't do it." Well, the truth is everybody can add and subtract. You can do math, or, "Oh, I'm no good at whatever it is." The reality is that you can do these things, and you should encourage yourself. And even if you're not as good as someone else, that's okay, because we all have different strengths. And learning to speak positively has been, for me, the one thing that has helped counter the negative inputs I tend to get from others, or I used to get from others. Is, we all have that person, that one person who we care about, who maybe isn't as supportive as we would like them to be. And their words can be really damaging and have long-lasting impacts that they may not even intend. They may have the best in mind for you and really want the best for you, but they don't understand your dream or believe in you and what you're doing. And so they try to divert you, which can be really hurtful and harmful. And so being able to give yourself that positive message, no, I really can do this. I am capable. I am competent. I am worthy. My dreams are worthwhile. Saying these things to yourselves in kind of a mantra way really does have benefit. At first, it might seem silly, but it works, and it's something that takes practice and it takes repetition to have impact. But it does make a difference.
Yeah, such a great thing. Thank you again for chiming in there, Robert. Relate Extreme says great words. Appreciate that. Relate Extreme. And this is such an important message. Amy's joining us on Amazon. Hey, Amy. Amy says, I love that. Things that trigger your self-talk. And I think that here's the thing, Allie. I think, again, this is why we have to be so careful and not to react too quickly to either things that we feel, things that we hear, because if we do, we can automatically go in the wrong direction. Yeah, I think anytime for myself, that's why, I'm always using movie references, Allie, but one of the movies that really affected me in ways I did not expect was 8 Mile with Eminem.
Right.
And with the reason why is what I call the 8 Mile moment at the end, where he takes all the negative things that people can say about them, and he basically, talks about it before they have a chance and says, now what else are you going to say about me?
Yeah.
That's kind of the mantra I live by. So I talk about being short and, 4 eyes and, crooked teeth. And I found that to be disarming even for other people, and it did too. It's like, okay, those ways, kind of celebrating the uniqueness of yourself. I bring that up for this reason about you, because I think when I read this message and you say in here, and I love this, super overachievers aside, we mere mortals struggle with routinely embracing fabulosity. Seriously, who can be fabulous every single day? And I think, especially for super overachievers, this can be the most difficult, right? Because for those who are used to wanting to be the most, to do the most, expected to do, we're almost expected to be fabulous every day. What has that been like for you to show you can be both sides of the coin, that you can be someone who's very good at what you do and still not have to be the greatest every day?
Well, that's interesting because it implies that I'm a super overachiever. I'm not sure that I am. I'm just
I mean,
doing
just
what
in
I do every
general
day.
of both being able to be like today, you're fabulous, but not expecting you to be that every day.
Yeah, I mean that's just reality. Life is a yin, it's a yang, it's an up, it's a down. It's no matter how thinly that that bread is sliced, there's two sides to it, and that's just not for perspective, but it's for our entire lives and our being.
Yeah.
And I think even for people who appear to be fabulous every day, those super achievers, they're not. Everybody needs downtime. Everybody needs to rest and recuperate. We all have to recharge. I've talked about, recreation. The root word of recreation is recreate. We need to take that time to rejuvenate and recharge our batteries.
Yeah.
And different people do it in different ways. Extroverts do it by getting with other people and engaging socially, and introverts do it by being alone and having quiet time. And most of us are somewhere along that spectrum. Everybody is somewhere on a spectrum for every aspect of life. That's just the reality of living. And I think the first and most important thing to do is to figure out what recharges you. Where are you on that spectrum? Is it taking a walk? Is it having coffee with a friend? Is it reading a good book? Whatever it is it going to a rave? Whatever works for you. That's what you need to be doing, because, and not being fabulous every day. You know what? I talk about embracing your inner fabulosity, because the truth is we are all fabulous. We just don't always feel fabulous,
Yeah.
And so it's just a matter of being kind to yourself and gracing yourself the same sorts of forgiveness and love that we're all so quick to give to our friends and loved ones, but we don't do it for ourselves. And we need to treat ourselves with at least as much compassion as we treat other people, if not more.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
yeah.
Agreed. And I wasn't trying to say you were a super overachiever, but what I was saying though, ironically though, to pick up on that, some people would look at both of us and say that that's how we're perceived, right? Because we
Mm.
do different things, and we have been able to achieve certain things. Some people would look at us based on their circumstances. That's why I love you talk about the spectrum, because I think even with, and you and I've talked about this before, Allie, and I've mentioned this on the show, that even the idea of what your inner fabulosity is relative, right? I mean, that's still going to be subject to wherever people kind of are, because that's like when someone asks you how you're feeling, you say, I'm feeling good. That could be a lot of that could be a lot of things to a lot of people. And I love that, because what it does for me, Allie, is show that each of us as individuals have to be able to embrace whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
And be
Yeah.
okay with that, and not let other people dictate what that is.
Yeah, there's a lot in there that you just had. So, I think the response is, how are you doing? I think the answer is normally fine,
Mhm.
which if you've, dealt with anyone, or if you yourself have dealt with addiction, fine is an acronym for them. It's like effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. It means you're just not, right? It's a facade that we too often hide behind, because most people who ask, how are you doing? They don't really want to know.
Mhm.
So why bother answering? But for those people, who care about you and love you,
Yeah,
if they ask how you're doing, it's really important that you share how you're doing,
yeah,
really how you're doing, especially if you're needing help, because it's okay to need help. It is okay to struggle. It is okay,
yeah,
not to have all the answers all the time. And, we're social creatures, and we do need some interconnections. So, I think that's a really important thing. And interestingly enough, tomorrow is National Self Care Day, and so my
mm,
whole newsletter is on self care. But um, you know, we do not engage as a society, as a people, in enough self care. Self care is not an indulgence. It is not being selfish. It is embracing being good to yourself so that you can have mental and physical health outcomes that are positive, and that you can thereby maximize your personal potential, you know? So you can embrace that inner fabulosity, which is, as we've talked about, for me, it's being happy with who you are, what
right.
you're doing, and who you're doing it with, which is, it's so simple, but it can be, it can be a lot of work to get there, but going to one of my other quotes, which I'm not sure I used in this book, but the harder you work, the luckier you'll be, right? If you
Mm,
put effort into things, things do tend to fall into place. And that's especially true if you work on yourself. And really, what's more important than working on yourself? You reap all of the return on your investment.
so true. So true. The Real Late Extreme says I recharge by watching YouTube videos, and that is another cool thing for me too. I get a lot of encouragement from YouTube videos too. She also says your honesty is refreshing. I appreciate that. And she said this is also a great conversation too. Echoes of the heart. Hello to you over there on IG. So, what is the big takeaway for you in this message for our audience, Allie, in this particular chapter in this message? What do you hope kind of stays with them?
I really, really hope that people will recognize when they're doing negative self talk, when they're doing things like, I can't, I'm no good, I'm whatever it is, that they will recognize it, and try to counter that with positive self talk. And also be aware if there are people or places that trigger that negative self talk, because surrounding yourself by people who bring you down is a bad strategy for success.
Right.
And I hope that what they'll take from it is, be kind to yourself, be good to yourself. It's okay to be humble, but it is not okay to put yourself down. And
Yeah.
also, tomorrow is National Self Care Day. So, what a better time to start than tomorrow?
Love that. Love that. Want to thank you guys for the hearts over there on the Amazon side. And make sure you guys do, if you have not, um, giving your feedback on the book. If you've already gotten your copy, make sure you guys do that. Of course, here on Amazon, of course, that's totally your choice to write a review, but definitely share your thoughts. Let someone else know what you think about the book. Again, It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous Every Day. Allie Dalsimer is our co-host here for this series, but also the author of the book. You can get the book in the different forms there. Amy says, this is my favorite part of Fridays. Thank you, Allie. Thank you so much for that, Amy. Appreciate that. And we thank you guys over. So if you guys are watching us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, there's a link that will bring you guys over to get your copy of Allie's book. If you guys are joining us on X, it'll be in the comment section. Those tuning in on Instagram, we'll put it back in our stories as well. Allie, great show as always. Let our audience know how to stay connected and also how to sign up for the newsletter.
Absolutely. You can find me anywhere on all the socials under my name, Allie Dalsimer. Just Google it. If you want the newsletter, it's alliedalsimer.com/newsletter. And I'd love for you to sign up. The next one goes out tomorrow, and it is all about self-care, providing tools and resources and lots of links to help you.
Love that. Allie, great show as always. Looking forward to next week.
Yes, me too. Thank you, Cyrus. And thanks to everybody for tuning in today.
That's right. And make sure you guys let us know in the comment section, if you're watching us on the replay, how you're going to be taking care of you today and going into this weekend as well. We'd love to know about that. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.